I'm the director of agricultural production for a small urban farming organization called Grow Pittsburgh. And we have 7 full-time staff and a lot of seasonal staff. And we produce food in the city as well as doing a lot of education with youth in Pittsburgh Public Schools as well as with adults. We do gardening courses, and then we also help communities to start gardens. There are other cities that have, especially community gardening organizations, but Grow Pittsburgh is fairly unique in terms of the array of programming that we do, from a lot of different kinds of education through like urban food production, and we sell our food to restaurants as well as through farm stands in neighborhoods, and then the community garden program as well. Sure. The book title is Saving the Seasons, and the book was developed basically as a pretty simple guide for preserving food. And we wanted it to be accessible to people who had never preserved food before, as well as being a helpful guide for people who have already done this and just need a short refresher. There are a variety of reasons why I got involved with the project. Food is something that's very important to me. In my job, I'm growing vegetables, and at home, I end up bringing home seconds and produce that's unsellable. And my husband Neil and I spend a lot of time preparing food and preserving it for the winter. It's a great way that we have found in our own lifestyle to be able to eat local food and highly nutritious food year-round. And it's something that is pretty simple and really an accessible way to eat the local food year-round. And I think a lot of people just don't have the basic skills or knowledge in order to do these processes, and I think it can feel pretty mysterious, this sort of preserving of food. And I think often people are worried that they're going to do something wrong or create a product that is in fact dangerous. And so we wanted to provide information to reassure people that this actually can be a very simple process, a great way to feed a family, a way to save money if you're growing your own food and want to be able to use that food year-round. So for me, I work with a lot of people in the city who have small gardens or who go to farmers markets, and it's something that I care about is helping people to learn how to provide for their families or themselves year-round. There wasn't, well, I would say we did end up pulling some recipes from previous Herald Press publications. And my mom and I both worked on that together. What we were working with, though, were a lot of recipes from a different time period. And nowadays, people don't necessarily want to spend the entire weekend canning peaches, or they don't have the community of support in order to do that in an efficient way. And so we ended up cutting a lot of the amounts of recipes down from those older recipes that were in previous publications, or selecting, say, 5 pickle recipes out of 50 pickle recipes. We figured that people just want to be able to make pickles, and they're not going to have worry about all the nuances of the different types of pickles at this point. So there was some selecting of recipes from previous publications, but then my mom and I also pulled from resources that we know, people that we know who are good cooks and good food preservers, and got recipes that way. We put in some of our own favorite recipes, and we tried to do a really good kind of cross-section of different types of preserving food, from canning to drying. We added in some more contemporary types of preserving food, like baby food. We have a baby food section, or preserving in oil, preserving in vinegar. So we tried to just modernize some of the recipes and then include some more recipes that seemed more currently appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Like salsa.
Like salsa or chutney. kimchi, a few different, like some fermented foods, things that maybe wouldn't make it into a traditional Mennonite cookbook, but in today's Mennonite community, things that people are cooking. Well, I hope that it empowers people and makes them feel like it's a beautiful book. Merrill Miller is the designer of the book, and he did a really great job just incorporating a lot of full color photos. There are a lot of step-by-step sections, which was one thing that I really wanted to make sure was incorporated in the book. When I first started preserving food, it was really hard to find visual guides for especially canning and things that you want to make sure you do exactly right, or else it might not turn out well. So we did step-by-step photos. We did a photo shoot actually in January, which was a challenge. But I think it worked out pretty well, and now we have these kind of current photos, and it's not a woman in high heels with a manicure and her hair all done to do canning in a kitchen. It's real-looking people, kind of younger people, doing this food preservation. And I think my hope is that people, from looking at the book, find food preserving to be accessible, something that they can do themselves. It's not scary anymore. We do have a few small sections about food safety and how to just make sure that you cover all your bases in keeping a clean workspace and following directions so that you don't need to worry constantly about whether you're creating botulism in your cans or that sort of thing. So my main hope is just that people are able to use the book as a guide to really make some lifestyle changes. I feel like as people of faith, it's important for us to consider the impact that we have on our world, and because of that, so there's an environmental perspective to our faith where caring for the world around us and caring for the people around us, I think it's dual, like environmental and social, caring about our community, caring about our neighbors and our neighborhood. And I think it's fairly indirect, but I think it is an important part of a lifestyle to be intentional about where we purchase our food or where we're growing our food and how we care for land around us. And, purchasing food from in season from local producers is one way that we can create strong connections with our neighbors and with our community and build relationships and trust, as well as, ensuring that our food is not coming from other countries. Not that that's always bad, but just that if we can build a strong relationship with the people in our community, I think that really is a way that we can live out our faith. I think initially I was intimidated, and I'm sure my mom was as well, to work kind of in a job situation, employment situation, where you need to be professional all the time with your mother. But it ended up working out very well. One of the reasons is we were both working from our own homes, and so it felt very comfortable to call each other at kind of odd times and be like, I'm thinking about the cookbook, we need to work on this or that. And that was fairly seamless, whereas with a work colleague, it might have been more like restricted to business hours or something like that. But I also think that we have very different skills, and that was a real benefit in this situation where my mom has editing skills, and she likes things to be concise and flow well, and she's from a rural area currently, and also from a different generation, and has a different skill set and different kind of interests and perspective. And I'm coming from an urban perspective, and I'm working with a lot of people who live in a city, and from a younger demographic. And so I think we were able to combine those two perspectives and really, hopefully, have a fairly broad range of interests represented in the book.